Stop raising chickens. I know that sounds insane, but hear me out. Right now, there are 7 animals sitting on your competitor's land, quietly generating 10 times what your chickens ever will, and almost nobody is talking about them. In this video, I'm breaking down 7 overlooked livestock animals that are outperforming chickens on profit per acre, profit per dollar of feed, and profit per hour of your time. Real numbers, real case studies, no theory. And stick around for number 7, because that single animal generates more profit per acre than beef, pork, and eggs combined. Most farmers have never even considered raising it. Before we get into it, if you're serious about building real income from small acreage, not hobby money, not theory, subscribe right now. Every week, we break down the numbers behind profitable farming so you can make smarter decisions before you spend a single dollar. Here's the problem with chickens. They're everywhere, every backyard, every homestead. And because everyone is raising them, the market is flooded. Standard eggs at your farmer's market, $3 to $5 a dozen. Your feed bill growing every single month. Your profit margin razor thin, if it exists at all. Chickens are not a bad animal, but in 2026, they are absolutely a commodity product, and commodity products do not build farm wealth. Animal number 1, Coturnix quail, the most space-efficient profit machine in small farming. A single Coturnix quail lays up to 300 eggs per year. That's nearly 1 egg every single day. Now here's where it gets interesting. Quail eggs are not a commodity. They're sold as a delicacy, $6 to $8 per dozen at farmers markets. Sometimes $10 if you have restaurant connections. Compare that to your chicken eggs at $4 a dozen. Same effort, same feed routine. Double the price per egg. Let me give you the real math. 50 laying quail, that's 50 eggs per day at peak production. Just over 4 dozen per week. At $6 a dozen, that's $24 every single week. From 50 birds, now scale to 200 birds. Same space as a single chicken run. That's nearly $100 coming in every week just from eggs alone, before you touch the meat market. Now, let me be honest about the challenge. Quail eggs are a specialty product, which means you have to find the buyers. Grocery stores won't come to you. You need farmers markets, Asian grocery stores, or restaurant relationships. That marketing work is real. But once those channels are established, the demand almost always outpaces your supply. Starting cost is minimal. 50 birds, basic caging, feeders, and waterers. You're operational under $500. Feed cost runs about $20 per month for 50 birds. The key is this: find your buyers before you scale. Talk to 3 restaurants, book 1 farmer's market spot, prove the demand is there, then expand. But quail is just the beginning. Animal number 2 turns food waste and manure into premium protein, and farmers are clearing $2,000 a month from it. Black soldier fly larvae. This one sounds strange. The numbers are anything but. The world is running out of protein. Poultry farmers, fish hatcheries, pet food manufacturers. They're all desperately searching for alternatives to expensive soy and fish meal. Black soldier fly larvae solve that problem. These larvae consume food scraps, manure, agricultural waste, basically anything organic, and convert it into high-quality protein and fat. Dried larvae sell for $4 to $8 per pound, and the demand is growing faster than supply can keep up. But here's what makes this genuinely different from anything else on this list. There are 2 revenue streams from the same process. Stream 1, the larvae themselves, sold to poultry farmers, fish hatcheries, pet stores. Stream 2, the frass. That's the byproduct left behind. Nutrient-rich organic fertilizer that gardeners and organic farmers pay premium prices for. You are literally selling what used to be trash. A farmer in Florida built a small-scale operation using food scraps from local restaurants. He processes 200 pounds of larvae per week on just a few hundred square feet of space. Monthly revenue, $1,500 to $2,000 from what used to be trash-headed to a landfill. And if you're already raising chickens, pigs, or fish, the larvae become free high-protein feed for your own animals. Your feed bill drops, your sellable product grows. That is a closed-loop system. Now we're moving into game birds, and this market most conventional farmers never even consider entering. That is exactly why the profit margins are extraordinary. Animal number 3, pheasants, where upscale restaurants and hunting preserves compete for your supply. A dressed pheasant sells for $18 to $25 per bird wholesale. Restaurants serving high-end clientele pay that price without negotiation because the flavor is completely different from chicken or turkey. Darker, richer, that wild game quality that defines premium dining. Then you have hunting preserves and private hunting clubs that stock thousands of birds every single season. They need reliable suppliers, and they will pay premium prices for healthy, flight-ready birds. Most conventional farms are not raising pheasants. That is your opportunity. A farm in Texas dedicated 10 acres to pheasants and cleared over $60,000 in a single season. They split their sales between restaurant contracts and a nearby hunting preserve that couldn't source enough birds locally. The profit margins are strong because you are not competing in commodity poultry markets. You are serving specialty buyers who value quality and consistency above everything else. The honest challenge with pheasants: these are flighty, nervous birds. You need solid fencing, covered runs, and serious predator control. Hawks, foxes, coyotes, they all see pheasants as easy targets. Startup costs are higher than quail because of infrastructure, but if you are near metropolitan areas with upscale dining scenes or rural regions with active hunting culture, this niche is wide open. Build relationships with chefs and preserve managers first. Once you prove consistent quality, they will keep buying season after season. 3 animals down, 4 to go. And we haven't even touched the one that generates more revenue per square foot than almost any other livestock on Earth. That's coming. But first, animal number 4 is quietly building serious wealth for homesteaders who understand the math. Animal number 4, meat rabbits. The most underestimated wealth builder on any small farm. One single doe, that's a female rabbit, produces up to 200 pounds of meat per year. Think about that number. 200 pounds from one breeding animal, and that meat sells for $8 to $12 per pound when you market direct to consumer. But here's what most people completely miss. Rabbits give you 4 income streams from the same animals: meat, pelts, manure, breeding stock, each one a separate revenue channel, each one adding to the same operation at almost zero extra cost. A homestead in North Carolina runs just 40 rabbits on 1 acre and nets around $35,000 annually. They sell meat at farmers markets and to boutique butchers. They sell hides to local crafters and online through Etsy. Their startup costs were a fraction of what you would spend on cattle or pigs. No massive barns, no expensive equipment. Hutches, feeders, breeding stock, and a clear plan for who buys before the first litter arrives. Let me tell you about the income stream nobody talks about: rabbit manure. Unlike chicken or cow manure, rabbit droppings are what farmers call cold manure. You can apply it directly to garden beds without composting. It will not burn your plants. Serious gardeners and organic farmers are paying $10 to $25 per bag for this. Before growing season especially, demand spikes and supply disappears. Your rabbits are producing it whether you sell it or not. You might as well get paid. Starting is straightforward: 3 does and 1 buck. That's your foundation herd. New Zealand whites or Californians for meat production. Angora breeds if wool is your primary income target. The single most important rule: find your buyers before you breed. Rabbits multiply fast. If you don't have customers ready, you'll be overwhelmed with animals and zero income to show for it. Plan the market first, then scale the breeding. Now we're stepping into serious territory: Animal number 5 has a cult following among the world's best chefs, and the profit margins will genuinely shock you. Animal number 5, heritage pigs, specifically Mangalitsa, Mulefoot, and Kunakuni. These are not commodity pigs, not even close. Chefs, butchers, and food enthusiasts literally compete for heritage pork. Because the meat is richer, darker, and loaded with marbling you simply cannot get from commercial breeds. And that premium quality translates directly into premium pricing. Heritage pork routinely sells for $14 to $22 per pound. Specialty cuts like Mangalitsa Lardo can fetch even higher. Compare that to commodity pork at $3 to $4 per pound. You are selling a completely different product to a completely different buyer. But here's what truly separates heritage pigs from everything else. These breeds open doors to a sales channel most farmers never even think about: whole animal sales. A chef buys the entire pig at a premium price and features it in a special tasting menu or farm event. Those deals lock in $3,000 to $5,000 per transaction. You're not selling individual cuts. You're selling a story, an experience, a product that simply cannot be found anywhere else. A small farm in Tennessee, running just 5 Mangalitsa sows on pasture, is netting over $45,000 per year. Selling directly to restaurants and local markets. Because these pigs thrive on grass, acorns, roots, and farm scraps, feed costs stay remarkably low compared to conventional operations. That drives profit margins through the roof. The honest challenge: heritage pigs grow slower than commercial breeds, longer time to market. They need space to roam and forage because that's what develops the flavor and fat quality. Confinement systems will not produce premium results, but if you have pasture or woodland, these pigs will thrive. The critical key is access to high-end buyers. Selling heritage pork into commodity markets destroys your margins completely. Build those restaurant relationships first, then scale your breeding program. Now we're moving into territory that sounds almost ridiculous until you see the actual numbers. Animal number 6 sits on 3 separate profit streams that barely anyone is tapping into, and the income potential is genuinely staggering. Animal number 6, emus and ostriches, meat, oil, hides, 3 markets, 1 animal. Let's start with emu oil, because this is where things get absolutely wild. Emu oil is used in cosmetics, skincare products, natural health remedies, and pharmaceutical applications. It sells for over $150 per gallon wholesale. A single adult emu produces about 2 gallons of oil per harvest, just 10 birds, $3,000 in oil revenue. Before you have touched the meat or the hides, do that math one more time. 10 birds, $3,000, oil alone. Then there's the meat. Lean, red, classified as a healthy alternative to beef, high in protein, low in fat. Emu meat sells for $15 to $25 per pound in the exotic protein market. And then the hides. Fashion houses, leather crafters, and luxury goods manufacturers pay premium rates for emu and ostrich leather because of its unique texture and extraordinary durability. Boots, handbags, wallets, high-end accessories. That's a third income stream stacked on top of oil and meat from the same bird. A Texas farm raising just 15 breeding pairs of emus is grossing over $100,000 annually. Selling oil to skincare companies and natural health retailers. Selling meat to specialty butchers and online customers. Selling hides to leather craftsmen, 3 buyers, 3 markets, $100,000, from 15 pairs of birds that almost nobody else is raising. The honest truth about emus and ostriches: infrastructure costs are higher up front. You need serious fencing. These are powerful birds that can jump and kick. Handling them is not for beginners. They can be aggressive during breeding season. You need more space than quail or rabbits. But for farms looking to stand out in a crowded market, the profit potential is unmatched. Almost nobody is raising emus at commercial scale, which means you are stepping into a market with very little competition and buyers who are desperate for reliable suppliers. 6 animals down, 1 left, and this last one is the animal that outperforms everything we've talked about when it comes to profit per acre. Most people think of it as a relic of the Old West. The numbers tell a completely different story. Animal number 7, American bison, the animal that generates more profit per acre than beef, pork, and eggs combined, and the market demand is absolutely exploding. Demand for bison meat is skyrocketing, and the reason is simple. Bison meat is higher in protein and lower in fat than beef. It has a rich, slightly sweet flavor that health-conscious consumers are absolutely obsessed with. But here's the critical detail that makes bison different from every other animal on this list. Production is still limited. Most bison are raised on small to mid-size ranches. The large-scale commercial operations that flooded the chicken and pork markets, they never moved into bison, which means prices stay high, which means your margins stay high. This is a premium market that has not yet been commoditized, and that window will not stay open forever. Let's talk real numbers. Retail bison meat sells for $16 to $22 per pound. Premium cuts, ribeye, tenderloin, $25 to $35 per pound. According to USDA data, small-scale bison operations are earning 2 to 3 times more net income per acre than comparable beef cattle operations. 2 to 3 times more, from the same land, the same fences, the same water systems, just a different animal. Sweetgrass Bison Ranch in Montana runs fewer than 80 animals on about 100 acres and grosses over $200,000 annually. They sell through a combination of direct-to-consumer online sales, farmers markets, and wholesale contracts with restaurants. And because there is so little large-scale competition in the bison market, they are sold out months in advance. Customers are pre-ordering quarters and halves before the animals are even ready for harvest. Read that again. Sold out months in advance. That is what an undersupplied premium market looks like. Here's what most people don't understand about bison. They are built for pasture systems. They need fewer inputs than cattle. They are harder, more disease-resistant, better suited to marginal land that might not even support cattle well. Bison do not need premium pasture. They do not need expensive grain. They thrive on grass, on land that most farmers consider too rough, too dry, or too challenging for conventional livestock. That land becomes a $200,000 annual operation. The honest reality, bison require more land than quail or rabbits. That's obvious. And they need serious fencing. Bison are powerful animals that can jump 6 feet and crash through weak fences. You need at least 5 to 6 foot high tensile wire or pipe fencing to contain them safely. The startup investment is higher than most other livestock on this list, but on a per acre basis, nothing else comes close. The key is establishing your market before you scale. Build restaurant relationships. Build a direct-to-consumer channel. Join bison producer associations that connect you with buyers. Know exactly where your meat goes before you expand your herd. Let's break this down clearly so you can figure out what fits your situation. For the fastest turnaround, quail win. 6 to 8 weeks from hatch to harvest. For the highest dollar value products, emus and ostriches dominate. Oil, hides, and meat combined. Best for the smallest spaces, quail, rabbits, and black soldier fly larvae. For stacking systems that feed each other, combine larvae with quail for a closed-loop operation. And for long-term land investment, bison lead in per-acre profitability. No other animal on this list comes close. Here's the truth that most farming channels will never tell you. Real money exists in unusual livestock, but you have to match the right animal to your land and your market. The farmers making serious income from small acreage are not doing anything magical. They started small, they tested demand, they built direct relationships, and they scaled only when the model was proven. That is the entire playbook. Start small, prove the demand, then scale. In the next video, we're covering the 5 fastest growing livestock markets projected to double by 2030. If you want to lock in premium contracts before the big players move in, you cannot miss it. The window for early movers in these markets is still open, but it is closing faster than most people realize. If this opened your eyes to what's actually possible on small acreage, hit like right now. It takes 1 second, and it helps this reach more farmers who need it. Subscribe to AcreWise for weekly profit strategies built around real numbers, not fantasy farming. And drop a comment below. Which of these 7 animals are you most seriously considering? I read every single one. You didn't scroll past this, most people did. Think about why.